Gorgonopsians are among the most iconic animals of the Permian period, and feature prominently in popular literature and media focusing on the period. Animals like Lycaenops, Gorgonops and Inostrancevia are the most typical and also well known of their group, although this is a very diverse clade, and there are some members that are more distinct than most realise, members of which will be covered both in this video and in later ones. As a general introduction though to the wider world of Gorgonopsids, this video will cover an animal known as Nochnitsa geminidens, a fascinating animal that gives us some insight into the group's early history and how they became the group they did. A genus of Gorgonopsids from the coastal-niche redbeds of Permian Russia, they, alongside the rest of the group, are characterised by having long and narrow skulls, as well as elongated upper and sometimes lower canine teeth and incisors that were used as stabbing weapons. Nochnitsa was similar in this regard, with this anatomy being all the more humorous when they are among the smallest members of their clades known to date, having a skull of only 82mm in length. Their mandible is also relatively slender and lacks a strong quote-unquote chin, unlike other Gorgonopsians, which appear much more heavy-set from the size. For Nochnitsa, this is a more therocephalian condition, these animals being another therapsid branch, and are indeed similar to Gorgonopsians in many features. The skull itself is generally very well preserved, with extensive detail in their skull features being found. The reddish colour to the remains being derived from the red mudstone rocks from where they were found also gives them a very Mars-like impression. They were described in 2018 by Christian Camera and Vladimir Masyutin, alongside another, similarly small Gorgonopsid, named as Gorgon, which was remarkably complete, and has its own interesting anatomy that will be covered later on in another video. Nochnitsa is named after a nocturnal, hag-like creature from Slavic mythology, with said name reflecting their inferred nocturnal habits from their large eye sockets. Their species name, geminidens, means twin tooth in reference to one of the autapomorphies of the genus, with their post-canine teeth being arranged in pairs. The paper describing Nochnitsa found them to be the most basal known Gorgonopsian, with them lacking a lower expansion on the post-orbital bar, also being included in the first phylogenetic analysis to include all of the Russian Gorgonopsians. Said phylogeny had some quite interesting results, with it being found that Gorgonopsians broadly fell into two major subclades, with Nochnitsa and Gorgon sitting outside of them, one made up entirely of Russian taxa, animals like Inostrancevia, and one containing only African ones, something intriguing given the extensive intercontinental dispersal inferred for other therapsid groups. Gorgonopsians are otherwise poorly represented in the fossil record, with none being known of from the middle to late Permian deposits of Western Europe, South America or Southeast Asia. Nochnitsa and Gorgon, while adding to the Gorgonopsid diversity of the coastal niche fauna, still remained overall as a group less rich in species than the therocephalians there. In this regard, the basal position is intriguing since there was no indication that the locality was of an earlier age than the South African strata. While the Russian clade of Gorgonopsians had probably diverged by the time they existed, the absence of that clade in the locality where Nochnitsa was found suggests it has not yet undergone too much diversification in the region, and that they only became the more dominant group of therapsid predators at a later point. Nochnitsa would have shared their environments alongside the similarly sized and previously mentioned Gorgon, filling in a small predator niche similar to modern small mustelids like stoats, while the larger therocephalians like Gorgonopsids filled in a more wolf-like position. The Animodont Siminia is also present, alongside parasaurs like Deltavjasia being particularly abundant. All in all, I thank you for watching this video on these animals and that you may have learned something new. If you would like to see more from this channel, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And with that, I'll see you next time, whenever that may be.